भारत माता की जय। हर हर महादेव।
भारत माता की जय। हर हर महादेव। गणपति बप्पा मोरया।
मोरया
मंगल मूर्ति मोरया।
मोरया।
ओम त्र्यंबकं
त्र्यंबकं
यजामहे
यजामहे
सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम्
सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम्
उर्वारुकमिव
उर्वारुकमिव
बन्धनात्
बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मोक्षे अमामृतात्। ॐ नमः शिवाय। वेलकम टू द शो जनता की बात जनता के साथ विद मीना दास नारायण।
Thank you so much.
वेलकम मैम। हैप्पी गणेश चतुर्थी।
Thank you. Same to you.
थैंक यू मैम।
You looking beautiful.
She always does.
Yes,
Same
the
as
painting looking beautiful behind you. You're marvelous. You awesome. You tremendous. You everything. You're inspiration.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Ma'am,
Same.
I
Both
wanted
of
to
you as well.
thank you. Ma'am, I wanted to tell you something. This is from me and Richa. May the stars carry your sadness away. We want the stars carry your sadness away. We want the flowers fill your heart with beauty, only beauty, with all the flowers. May hope, whatever, wipe away your tears. If anything happened to you, we are there to wipe anything come across to you, because you are our inspiration woman. You are our idol, and the lady who did the kingdom her own way, that called Candid Meena. And we really love you, we really respect you, and we welcome you. A warm welcome from our end, ma'am.
Thank you for those lovely words. Of course, I'm just an ordinary person trying to fight, injustice in our own way. And in the process, we have, all become one with the public and, made sure that people are listening to our voices. I mean, this is something that was not done earlier when so many people died. But because of social media, everybody has been able to connect. And this is one big strength that all of us have.
Yes. Ma'am, today is Hindi Divas. So through you, I want to recite a poetry in Hindi.
Yeah.
For Hindi Divas.
Yes.
हिंद की बेटी हिंदी, भारत के उज्जवल माथे की मैं ओजस्वी बिंदी हूँ। मैं हिंद की बेटी हिंदी हूँ। संस्कृत पाली प्राकृत अपभ्रंश की पीढ़ी दर पीढ़ी सहेली हूँ। मैं हिंद की बेटी हिंदी हूँ। मैं जन जन के मन को छूने की एक सुरीली संधि हूँ। मैं मातृभाषा, मैं राष्ट्रभाषा हिंद की बेटी हिंदी हूँ। मैं देव भाषा संस्कृत का आवाहन राष्ट्रमान हिंदी हूँ। मैं हिंद की बेटी हिंदी हूँ। पहचान हूँ हर हिंदुस्तानी की मैं, आन हूँ हर हिंदी साहित्य की मैं, आगवानों की मैं हिंद की बेटी हिंदी हूँ। माँ बोली का मान करूं, माँ बोली का मान करूं, मैं भारत की अनोखी शान हूँ। मैं हिंद की बेटी हिंदी हूँ। मुझे लेकर चलने वाले हिंदी लेखकों की जान हूँ। मैं हिंद की बेटी हिंदी हूँ। मैं राष्ट्रभाषा, राष्ट्र गौरव, राष्ट्र की पहचान हूँ। हिंद की बेटी हिंदी हूँ। विश्व तिरंगा फहराऊंगी, मन मन हिंदी ले जाऊंगी। मैं हिंद की बेटी हिंदी हूँ। तो ये आज
बहुत ही सुंदर
मैम हिंदी दिवस पर मीना दास नारायण, थैंक यू मैम। हिंदी दिवस पर आज मीना दास नारायण के माध्यम से हमने हिंदी को एक कविता का रूप दिया और अपने दर्शकों को हिंदी दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देता है ये जनता की बात जनता के साथ। Rupalji,
It's beautiful.
let's start.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, the first question,
Yeah.
14 June.
Mhm.
What was, the change life of everyone,
Yeah.
everybody who's there in this moment or who's not there in this moment. I'm
Yeah.
meeting a lot of people, like in shooting, also in everywhere. So everybody knows what happened on 14 June. Ma'am, I really want you to please tell the
Yes.
journey,
Yes.
what
Yes.
you felt it after 14 June.
Yeah. Okay. See, if you talk of our journey from the day SSR died, okay. Uh, yeah. Am I audible?
Yes,
Am I
yes.
audible? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you talk of our journey from the day SSR died, all I can say is millions of people have done it and are still doing it till we get justice for not only SSR and Disha, but many others, like all of SSR's friends who died mysteriously, people like Jia and Janvi Kukreja as well. It is this unity that has threatened politicians, Bollywood, Mumbai police, the mainstream media, and the NGOs. Please remember, NGOs play a very big role in this. That is the area from which child trafficking comes in. Okay? It's exactly 15 months since Sushant died. And yet, there is no word from CBI. The day that SSR was declared dead, and announced as a suicide, I remember I was teaching some of my students art, and I was shocked. I checked the news, and yes, there was this news that this young man, the successful actor, had committed suicide when, strangely, his career was soaring. From then began the search for clues to what actually happened. This quest that troubled every SSR well-wisher. Some good human beings posted pictures of SSR's body and all the details of the room. There were some video clippings also. Despite tremendous pressure from Congress party, I remember Nirupam had said that nobody should show the body. He had given instructions to the Mumbai police. Nobody should show SSR's body. But they succeeded in doing that in Siddharth Shukla's case, which I feel is not a natural death either. Anyway, after seeing the details and finding the number of discrepancies in the room where everything was wrong, the green flimsy cloth, the position of the body, the bruises on his face and his neck, and some other body also was there on the bed, covered there. The suspicious video in which the policeman says, "Ye kisi ko dikhana nahi," and this was said in front of Meetu, his sister. So this was very suspicious. Okay. Then, of course, comes a very strange man called Sandeep Singh, who was never really his friend. I would say that he was Ankita Lokhande's friend. And his orchestrated behavior, you could make out. He was taking orders from someone else and keeping Meetu in his control. So doubts about whether the family was being threatened also came into the picture. Then you remember the whole ambulance drama, because you suddenly see policemen wearing slippers. Now, were they really policemen, or were they people dressed in the policeman's clothes? Why I'm saying is, I'll just come to that point. You had 3 ambulances coming in. And finally, the one owned by a Congress MLA, which was converted into ambulance, please note that, finally came to take his body. The driver who emerged out of the ambulance looked like a thug. He did not have a uniform. He was seen bullying the police, which is very strange. How would an ambulance driver bully the Mumbai police? Okay. Anyway, so then after that, what we see was there were people walking in and out of the crime scene. So you see people, walking as though it is a park. The crime area was not cordoned out. Okay. Then, and also we found strange characters like Suraj Pancholi, a makeup man, and Bunty Sajda, and a woman who looked like Ria, all walking in and out whispering to the people inside and to Sandeep Singh. How dare these people come into the crime area? What interest did these people have there? When the body was taken, it looked like it belonged to an 8-foot man. Because what we felt was that there were 2 bodies covered together that was taken into the ambulance. So were there 2 bodies? In between, there's some strange people, as we said, were walking out with garbage bags filled with some stuff. So the whole thing was very suspicious. The Cooper Hospital was another scene. We know, what a fake hospital Cooper Hospital is. It has got the, most vile reputation. Nobody trusts Cooper Hospital. They have messed up with so many of the post-mortem, forms even before, not SSR, but even before. So then we have the Cooper Hospital scene, where Suraj Singh is seen with Sandeep Singh. Now, who is Suraj Singh? Suraj Singh was working with Ekta Kapoor in her company, production house. Okay. Now, after that, you also see the person everybody is scared of. That is Sachin Vaze. Luckily, somebody has captured that. So wherever there is Sachin Vaze, you know that a crime has been committed. So here it's very clear, because he has murdered Mansukh Hiren. Now here you know that there is something very suspicious that has happened to SSR. And that is why this very dreaded policeman was there with Sandeep Singh and Suraj Singh. Also, this Suraj Singh also brings in Riya and her whole family as though they are walking into a park. Now, what role did Riya have in this mortuary? And they were there for some time. So, all this built suspicion within us. Rupal and, what I felt,
Richa.
Rupal and Richa. See, what I felt was that, when this happened, I needed to write an article. And I was sure that none of the mainstream papers would accept it. So I approached, first I thought I'll write for Indian Express, but the editor was not showing much interest. So then I approached Up India, and Nupur was, she jumped at the idea.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yes, yeah, and we wrote a complete detailed article where, it took a few days because she also wanted to cross-check, because they did not want to land in problem. At that time, Paramveer Singh was trying to terrorize everybody. So all the media were cross-checking facts all the time. So they cross-checked all the facts, and I was getting pretty irritated, because it was important to get this point across to the people that something very, very terrible has happened to SSR. So I asked Nupur, are you going to publish it or not? So she knew that I was getting impatient, and then finally, and I said, please do not change what I have written, not even a word of it. If you want to, you check with me. Okay. Facts wise, I'll give you all the details. So finally, it was printed, and the article went viral. Now, when that came out, no, I'm not taking credit for it. No, I'm sorry, I'm not taking credit for it. What I'm saying is, awareness started building within the common man. Not only me, there are many people. Okay, I'm just one of the people. Awareness started building that, yes, we can criticize and say that there was something very fishy that had happened in the case of SSR. So, that fear element had gone from the public, because see, normally, even you remember when it was in Sonia Gandhi's regime, people were very scared to talk. Okay. So, because they used to do all sorts of things. They used to threaten people, they used to beat up people and use violence.
They still are.
Yes. But after Modi ji came, see, this stopped, and people are able to speak their minds without having any, sort of restriction or censorship. So what I'm saying is then, so this happened. And then, so in effect, what we are saying is that they had set a stage, for everything to be covered up. Now, if you're clever, you will note that in Siddharth Shukla's case, they learned from the mistakes of SSR, and they made sure, they told everyone who came for this cremation, please do not open your mouth, okay? Don't take photographs, Okay, we don't want anything going out of this place. Now, let me ask you a question. Why so many people die? And they said it's a natural death. If so many people die and if it's a natural death, the faces are revealed. Okay, why was nothing shown at all? I mean, you couldn't even see Siddharth's face. The whole thing was the van was completely covered with flowers, and people were all going hush hush. And the strangest thing was that the people who cried crocodile tears, his friends, so-called friends from this Big Boss or whatever, okay, whatever stupid program that they come in, what they did was a few days later they were at the disco dancing.
Yeah.
So,
Correct.
yeah. So, is this what friendship is all about? And then they tell us, let the family be in peace. Do not disturb them. Do not ask such questions. Okay. Do not trouble Shehnaz. Now, look, this is a democracy. If something is suspicious, people will ask questions and people will probe. Okay. Only the people who are paid to keep quiet will keep quiet. So this is, so again, coming back to the fact that, see, they learned their lessons because of, Sushant's case. So, then the complete truth started emerging through the WhatsApp chats that came in Republic and in Times Now. Till, of course, Times Now did a U-turn when they were threatened by Ria's lawyer. Okay, so now here, what is the truth that we got to know? The truth was Sushant was being trapped, and there was a honey trap arranged to trap him. And more details came about the shell companies in which he was involved with Ria and her brother. Okay, and the man who was connected to a superstars company, which he denied later. Quan. We're talking about Quan. Okay, Quan is actually your Vasuli company, where you control stars and models by taking money from them and giving them work. So initially, Sushant gave a large amount of money to them so that he would get some roles. Now, bear in mind here, when we talk about Quan, we are talking about the 7 production homes. Okay, which is, as you know, all of you know, it is Ekta Kapoor's, Balaji, and then you have Yash Chopra's, company. So you have all these 7 companies which control the fates of all the Bollywood actors. Now they will decide whether you will become successful or not. So here everybody is playing a role. Now when you look at Quan, we have got all the details about how Jaya Saha, her conversations, on Times Now and Republic, what was happening. Okay, and also the fact that you're talking about Cornerstone, okay, which is managed by Bunty Sajde, related to Salman Khan. Okay, here also, that they control the fates of people through advertisements. So, which means if you play according to their rules, you will be given ads. And that is why only certain actors and actresses get ads. And you see the same people back again and again. You're talking about Sarah, Sarah, and you're talking about Saif, you're talking about Ranveer or Deepika, okay? Or you're talking about Akshay, my God, the number of ads that he has, And then, so the normal people don't get it. Normal actors don't get it. How many do you see? The other actors getting ads. So, here in Cornerstone, his business was being managed by Shruti Modi. Now, when Shruti Modi handed over this to Disha Salian was a very clean sort of girl. So she would have confided in Sushant exactly what was happening, because these people were scrutinizing his financial transactions. And being a successful actor, he was making plenty of money. Now, it is at this time that all the extortion started happening. You would also remember the video where you have Imtiaz, Khatri,
Yes.
threatening.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's when all this happened, and he was being more and more drawn into this gang, this kabal, And if you look at the WhatsApp chat, you will know that Shruti Modi was also supplying drugs to the parties. This is not me
Mm-hmm.
speaking. This is the channels, okay, mainstream channels like Times
Correct.
Now and Republic. So
Mm-hmm.
also remember, Ria was paid a certain amount by Kwan, which meant she was working for Kwan. So what was she working for? Was she one of the girls who enticed the stars like other women? Okay. You also know that Kwan has a very bad reputation, that the CEO was actually sexually abusing any women who came into Kwan for roles or for modeling assignments. And there was a time when he tried to commit suicide also, which was also false because he was just acting. Then he was absorbed back in Kwan. So that was also a huge drama. This is when, at this stage, they started taking complete control of Sushant and they decide to drug him. So they take him on this holiday to Europe and the process starts. So what happens is he is not in his normal senses. And this is done by Ria and her brother. Okay. Then she keeps him in his house for about 2 weeks before he's taken to Waterstone, where he's kept under lock and key. And here also, see, all these directors were all coming, visiting and all that. But Sushant was kept under lock and key. This is when the whole game, is sort of, falling into place. And remember, see, we know from all the chauffeur and other, people who associated with SSR that he was being drugged because he used to sleep for many hours. And when this started coming out, Ria had already changed the complete, inner circle of servants, chauffeur, everyone, because she did not want the things to go out. So the people who were actually working with Sushant were people brought in by Ria. And they would have had connections with Suraj Pancholi or with Salman or whatever. Okay. So the people were trusted by the cabal. Now, what happens after this is the money transactions happen, and his credit cards are, used by both Ria and her brother for various things, for studies and for making 100 trips to Goa, and such things are happening also in the process. So now here we also know in the process what is happening is he was also being kept away from his family, his father and his sisters, and they could not reach out to him. So why were they doing that? See, whenever you have a support system, we all know. See, when we have a support system, when a problem comes, the first thing you will do is reach out to your mother or your father and say, we have a problem. And always it is the elders who will tell us, please, don't worry, we'll find you some solution. So they did not want any sort of interaction between him and his family. Now, also bear in mind that if you talk about Sushant's character is such that he was a Shiva Bhakt. And he was a very pure soul who could see inside out of everything. He knew what was happening. Okay. And he, the poor soul that he is, he thought that he could get out of it, with his, whatever, plans that he had for the future, because he was planning something very big. The way Hollywood works, he wanted to plan a lot of things, a lot of projects, and change the whole film scene. But this was not to be, because these people are very scheming and they know exactly. See, it's just like, when you're caught in the web of an octopus, there are a million hands, trying to destroy you. See, because it's not Ria and Shoaib only. No, there is the whole family. Then there are actors who are living here and there. He was also living in a house which is owned by a superstar's uncle. So everything was completely, sort of monitored and staged. You must understand that this was not something that was, quickly planned. This is something that they have been doing for years. Whether you're talking about all the other victims like Praveen Bhabi or Divya Bharti, or you're talking about them. See, we are only talking about the big names. There would be 100 other names. For example, in the case of Pooja Hegde, you know that she was involved with a minister. And this girl was so smart that she was actually doing all his election campaigns and all with him. So there would have been a personal this thing also. And then they say, how did she die? They say that she was at a party, she got drunk and she fell down and she died. But that was not to be, because there were audio records of him threatening and saying, to kill her. You see, all this happened. Everything came out. But because the government is so corrupt, nothing of this sort is coming out. Okay, unless the government falls, none of this will come out. So coming back to Sushant, see, Sushant knew the whole system. See, just like in the case of Sunanda Pushkar. Sunanda Pushkar, the moment she realized that Shashi Tharoor was, flirting with Meher Tarar, the Pakistani woman who said she was a journalist, but she is an ISI spy. So she, when this happened, she realized that there's something more, and she wanted to expose this. Okay, so she knew the inside out of the IPL thing. Now, if she reveals anything of the IPL, who are the people involved? The whole family, the political family. So if that comes out, then they are the ones who will be in serious trouble. So it was not Shashi Tharoor. Shashi Tharoor was only playing the game according to what they wanted. So she was going to give a press conference, and she called certain key journalists. And those journalists, out of them, they were all the mainstream journalists like Barkha Dutt and all that. They went and reported to the cabal, the people concerned, saying that, see, she's going to give a press conference. You better be careful. And that's how she was killed. Okay. Similarly, in Sushant's case also, he was going to reveal what was happening in the world of Bollywood, how young girls were being betrayed, seduced, and thrown into prostitution, and how all this child trafficking was happening, how money laundering was happening, and how media are not true to their duty. Media was also writing only stories when they are paid to do it. How PR covers up for crimes, and whitewashes them. So this was happening. And then as we move on, you look at the Disha. What happened to Disha? See, if you look at Disha's case, see, Disha did not want to go for the party. That's clearly said by her mother. But her boyfriend, who is working in Ekta Kapoor serials, insisted that she go. Now, apparently being in love, she would have said, okay. See, at that stage, you can't question emotions, and she did go. But it is here at this party. See, you can make out that Disha had a lot of morals and values. Disha saw something that made her shocked. And reports are that, see, there was child trafficking happening there. So when she revealed this to Sushant and said that, Sushant, do not move out of your house, there's something happening. She also knew that there were plans for him to be eliminated. So it is at this time that these people, and she discusses this with her stupid boyfriend, and they come to know that this woman is already aware of what's happening. So the moment the thing is, the picture is out, they decide to get rid of her. For them, it's a question of just, killing somebody. So they killed her. And what they did, according to eyewitnesses, was that a white car came near her house, dumped her naked body there, and went off. Now the neighbors and watchmen, the watchman was changed later. They all said that this is the fact. She was dumped there, and they went off. Now the boyfriend comes after a long time, and he sees this, and he puts her in a car, and they go off. Only after 2 days, it's given for postmortem. What happened in between that time, we don't know. And then when the postmortem report comes, we know that it is a sexual assault by many, and she was brutalized, including some, a sort of a hole near her chin, which is a standard thing. Okay, I'm just saying it was there in Jia's case, it was there in Janvi's case. Okay, yeah. So there is something that these people do. It's a pattern. So that happened, and then see, we won't believe what all these other people say that Sushant was so scared that he didn't know what to do and all that. No, see, that is somebody else speaking. I don't believe those people. Now, naturally, Sushant would have got scared because he knew that he was in this fix, and they would take everything from him now because he was alone. He had nobody to support. All his friends were eliminated. Many of his friends were killed mysteriously. So he had nowhere to go. And even, see, I don't know why, I mean, even the sisters could not reach out to him at that time. So that was also a little bit of a surprise to us because, if you're a family, you would go, go and find out where he lived and just take him out. I mean, that's
Exactly.
how certain families would behave. But I don't know. This family is totally different. So I can't speak for them. And then so when this happened, now, see, what I want to know is, see, why did this, even before we go to that, see, this Disha's boyfriend goes into hiding. Now, who told him to hide? Okay, so that is also a story. And now you go and hide. Public memory is short. You return when things have cooled down.
Correct.
Yeah, and you will get your serials, and you will become successful in these serials produced by these people.
Right.
See, these are the
And
rewards.
he was doing an advertisement also.
Yes, ads and this thing also. And so these were the rewards that he was given for being faithful to the cabal. So again, so now when you're talking about this, Sushant would have, see, being the simple person that he would have confided this in Pitani. Not that he trusted Pitani, but he would have said something out of his fear. Immediately, that would have been conveyed to Riya because Riya and Siddharth were very close. And she would have then immediately spoken to the other old man and she would have left the place. Now, before leaving the place, she would have worked with the lawyer on how to get everything out. As in, perhaps a computer, other things as well, because half the things were taken earlier by another gang who came in and they took his hard drives and all according to Siddharth Pitani. So everything was wiped out of his computer. And finally, that night, he was murdered. Now, see, there are many, what do you say, there are many opinions about, there are many opinions about how he was killed. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because I can't see you, so that's why. Okay, so there are many, sort of opinions about what happened, and that there is an actor who lives very close by. They had come there with a, important person, a politician, and that he was murdered that night. Okay, so they said all that other drama about the door being opened by the locksmith and all that was actually, something Siddharth would have, cooked up. We don't know. So what happened ultimately is he would have died in the night, and they would have said that he died the next noon or before that. So there were a lot of stories being cooked up after that. And then you say that, see, in the postmortem, nothing was, they'll say that, see, nothing happened and all that. But ultimately, it's only because the CBI came into the picture that we started seeing hope. But CBI did not, give us any, positive attitude. In the 15 months, they have kept silent. So you have NCB working, exposing everything, ED working, exposing everything, but CBI has kept silent. And it is this silence. Yeah.
So there might be an attribute to this CBI entity, we can say.
Pardon?
They are collecting the facts.
Yes.
All other agencies are working as an attribute for CBI. Yes.
It could be because, see, whenever something like this are happening, see, some sort of clues will come out saying that, see, we are working on it or we are doing something. But here, nothing is coming out. So the silence is very frightening for the common man, And then you also see certain things. These are all the, things that we think about. It's very subjective. Is that, see, certain people are buying new houses, okay? Certain people are becoming richer, and then, see, I'm also getting inside information that, see, some of the people are corrupt, So we don't know. We don't know the truth of what's happening, because if the kind of cabal that has killed Sushant, they are very powerful. So they have enough money. It all depends on their integrity and whether they want to prove the case at all. So we are back to square
Absolutely.
one after 15 months with no idea. Yes, what you say, Richa, is that may be working on the proofs. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
but why not give us an idea?
As
Of
per
what's
as per our study and our resources, it is only social media. It is the tweet of the politicians, and it is the working principle of NCB, ED, NIA, every other investigating agency.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this, ma'am.
Yeah.
Uh, Ma'am, one more thing I would like to add here. Rupal, would you like to say something?
I I wanted to ask one question to ma'am
Yes.
related to this. I don't know, ma'am, if you're comfortable, then only answer. Because whatever happened, the family must have know everything about all this.
Yes.
Police knows, everybody knows. The
Yes.
investigation which done by public is, I think, more than enough. If CBI can look at us, ma'am, do you have any idea how they kill Sushant Singh Rajput?
No,
How
can you
it
just
happened?
repeat that? I didn't get you.
Okay, ma'am, my question is how they kill Sushant Singh Rajput. There are
Yeah.
many theories. He was at home, he was out, he was at police station, he's been killed here, he's been killed there. Any investigation that you come across, can you just give us a little hint about that? How
See,
he's been killed?
yeah, I feel that people came there that night, and they would have been one of them would have been a hired killer, or what you could say, see some expert, you know, in martial arts or whatever. Yes, and accompanied by the main people, and they would have done it because they would have shown it on the dark net, and they would have made money that way. Okay, accordingly, see, this would have gone to screened in various homes, including the politicians concerned, you know including the actors, you know so
Ma'am, are we audible to you?
I'm not, I don't know, I seem to be, I'm getting cut all the time.
Ma'am, you rejoin. Ma'am, you
Yeah,
rejoin.
I've just rejoined now. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So it is, it would have been conveyed to everybody, and they would have made their money on it, but they never anticipated such public uproar. They thought, like Sri Devi, Divya Bharati, this would have just died down. But they didn't realize the new generation of Indians are not people who are going to sit quiet. They will fight tooth and nail, whether it is a prime minister or whether it is a chaprasi. They will question everybody. Okay, nobody's scared of anything, and
Prime Minister himself says
everybody is
he is
doing
chowkidar.
this in between their work. So which means we are all working, but despite that, we are also dedicating our time for this. So okay, so he's not related to us, but he has struck an emotion within us that is so deep that we cannot shirk it off. Yeah.
Ma'am, are we audible to you now?
Yes. Yeah.
Ma'am, I can see your 2 IDs. May I remove one?
Please remove one.
1 second, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah,
First, let me add you and.
yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Fine. Ma'am, I have written few lines for
Yes.
them who always keep trolling to the people who are in this fight. Like you, I have seen many tweets against you, many points raising against you. So I have written few lines for them on your behalf. May I recite it, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah.
I will rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in every dirt, but still like dust I will rise. Just like moons and like sun, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I will rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I will rise, I will rise, I will rise. This was for you, Meena ma'am,
Very beautiful.
for all the trollers who troll Meena ma'am despite exposing so many facts beautifully, precisely, in a very candid Meena manner. Ma'am, we would like to ask you two questions. Tell us about the tool tales, toon tales, and candid Meena.
Yeah. See, basically, I'm an artist. So I love painting and basically in oils. So I paint, usually I paint women because I feel women are very expressive, and there's so much depth in a woman's feelings that can be expressed through paintings. So, earlier I had taken my mother to a Ayurvedic spa where she was getting undergoing treatments. So, I was with her for a month. So, we used to spend our time, talking, or I would do sketching. So I used to draw the people there, the staff there, and the staff would love it. So I used to give them, sign it and give it to them. Then the doctor there said, "See, Meena, you're so good at this. Why don't you start cartooning?" You know, and so I laughed. So he said, "Because you're so politically aware and you have language and you have the skills. So why don't you start?" So when I returned back to my home, I started doing cartoons, and I found that they became very popular with people who could, who are broad-minded and who can understand it. Okay, but the people
I
who were,
understood. I understood
yeah,
one of your cartoons you tweeted today
yeah. So, but
about.
the people who are attacked, they complain. So they complain through various sources to me, and I don't care to whose. So that's because, see, we have to give messages to people about what's happening. And when you talk about candid Meena, see, I've been a journalist for so many years. I started a very successful magazine in the Gulf, which won many gold awards from Dubai. So when I came back, I was just thinking, see, I'll do this and something else. So it was at that time my son said that, see, Mom, why don't you start a channel? Because you're so outspoken, people will enjoy, your views. So I wasn't very sure because at that time, you're thinking of it's a totally different medium from magazines. And then once he named it and all that, he said, because Mom, you're so, outspoken, we'll call it Candid Meena. So he was the one who takes the credit for all that, and that's how I started. And then I realized that, see, there are many like-minded people who like honesty, and who like the fact that, see, you don't have all this hangama, all this masala, and you don't need to shout at people or to belittle people or to make fun of people, when they come as guests. You don't need to agree with them, or you don't need to, be on the same, page with them, but you can always respect their views and politely disagree as well. So that's how the channel started progressing, and then it really picked up. And I found a lot of friends that way. So lot of good people. So people who come in and out of the channel, very, very intelligent people. And one thing I must stress: the people who come, as viewers to the channel are very intelligent people, and their comments are so valuable that we always talk about them, and they also come live. So that makes the session very rich. So that's what I had to say about Candid.
Ma'am, Sushant was vast. He has everything in him.
Yeah.
If it is actor, dancer, singer, painter,
Yes.
journalist, anything, he
Yes.
really want people together and people do such good work.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I wanted to tell you something which Richa has written for you,
Yeah.
and she told me to, say
Richa
about
is a
you.
very good poetess.
Yes,
Thank
yes. So she written in Hindi, and I will tell you because I'm good in talking. So I'm good in saying. So
No, you're very good, and you're doing a lot of good things, Rupal. All your agitations and everything. It's very well done. I mean, I'm watching it and I'm seeing all your pictures. I mean, you're very aggressive in that, and it's very good. Keep it up.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Acknowledge me. Thank you, ma'am. You acknowledge
Keep
me.
it up. Yeah. Keep it
Uh,
up.
मीना, आप हो जगत की जननी, आप ममतायनी दानी हो, आप प्रेरणा हर क्षेत्र की, नहीं तुमसा कोई सानी हो, श्वास दिया अपने ऊर से, तुम बाल उपवन की माली हो, इतिहास पटा तेरी महिमा से, क्योंकि आप हमेशा इतिहास को उजागर करती हो, इतिहास पटा तेरी महिमा से, तुम अद्भुत गौरवशाली हो, वाग्न देवी, वाग्न देवी महिषासुर मर्दिनी. इफ यू सी, मीना मैम के पीछे अंबे माँ है. वाग्न देवी महिषासुर मर्दिनी, तुम आदि शक्ति अभिमानी हो, आद्य शक्ति की अभिमानी हो, आदि काल से वर्तमान तक. जैसे आप बात करती हैं, आप पहले उसका सच जानती हैं, फिर उसका फ्यूचर जानती हैं. आदि काल से वर्तमान तक विजयी परचम की अधिकारी हो, धन्य धरा हुई तुमसे अवरित कर. धन्य धरा, अगर धरा कहे तो ये मोमेंट भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि हम आपसे कभी मिले नहीं थे. धन्य धरा हो तुम्हें अवतरित कर, तुम दुख सुख की सहभागी हो. जब भी किसी को दुख सुख, जैसे हम जैसे लोगों को अगर कुछ तकलीफ होती है, तो आप हमेशा सही रास्ता दिखाती है. तुम दुख सुख की सहभागी हो, मीना जी तुम जगत जननी, तुम सर्व विजेता और कभी ना हारी हो. कैंडिड मीरा की तरह हमेशा लड़ती हुई एक ऐसी नारी हो, कैंडिड मीना की तरह लड़ती हुई एक ऐसी नारी हो.
Thank you, Richa. Very beautiful words and very beautifully recited by you, Rupal. And also, I think I saw a comment by KB, who is one of those very intelligent women who come on our, on our programs. And I love the way, just like you, Richa, she speaks Hindi very beautifully. And see the beauty of Hindi. It's so, when you speak poems or songs, you sing songs, the beauty of the language comes out so well, and it's a very sweet language. And I think
right.
people should feel proud to know the language and not say that it belongs here or there. It belongs to every Indian, and it's very important that everybody should speak Hindi, because it's because of the beauty and the fact that, see, we are Indians. So any language which we know in India is very important, but most important is Hindi.
Ma'am has to
Ma'am,
go because her.
Yeah.
You want to say something, Rupal?
Yeah.
only one question, ma'am. Ma'am, last question. I know you want to go. Ma'am, what is the future of this justice? Tell to everyone.
Yeah. See, I had a lot of hope um, some time back, thinking that, see, the new CBI chief has come, so there will be changes, and that we will be alerted. The public will be alerted about certain things. But no, that has not happened. And I find that this lady, the CBI lady, Nupur, she actually follows me. So she's seeing everything that I'm tweeting. And there are times when I get angry and I also talk to her that way, tweet to her that way. So, but what I'm seeing is that there is absolutely no response. Then also, I'm also getting some reports that, see, some people in CBI can be corrupt, and they can be swayed by money. So I hear that, because I don't know how true it is, but those sort of reports make me very upset that we can't get justice for Sushant or for Disha. So I'm not very positive, Rupal or Richa, because we had even written a letter. You had participated in the in the silent protest. We had even sent a letter to the Prime Minister, which we had sent by registered post, expecting a reply, but it has not come. So, and also the fact that, see, the people who wanted to hit at us, which is Akshay Kumar fans, they were trying to hit at me, saying that, see, look, he has responded to Akshay Kumar because of his mother's, death, and look, so it serves you right. They started mocking me. So my answer to them was, see, what the Prime Minister does or says or writes, that is his concern. Okay, my mission is totally different. It cannot be compared. Okay, so what Prime Minister does is not my. I mean, why should I, be held accountable for what he does? Moreover, everybody has a right of, writing a condolence letter. But my a counter question would be, is that why didn't the Prime Minister write a letter to Sushant's father? Or why didn't he write a letter to Disha Salian's parents? Or why didn't he write a letter to someone like Janvi Kukreja's parents? So he could have done it through his ministers. Nothing happened of that sort. So, so what I wrote was that, see, we can come, I'm not playing the role of a sort of a major in a movie, or a Savarkar in a movie. So I'm not that famous like that. But we are also people who are at your feet, expecting you to give justice, just like a Maharaja gives it to his Praja. See, why were the Maharajas in olden times so successful? They were successful because they walked among the public and they sensed the feelings and the sadness of the public. They sorted it out and they gave them justice. That is why we have so many great kings like Chandragupta Maurya, or Ashoka the Great, because they gave us complete justice. Okay, Narendra Modi ji is not, he's a single person, and he doesn't have to, he doesn't have any vested interests, and he has done a lot of things for our country. But if the public are not pleased, see, we can always have a very good image in abroad that India has become so, has progressed so much. But if your own people are unhappy with the justice system and with the crime that's happening in India, then you are not a good leader. And if you have, if you have ministers under you who are underperforming, the first thing you have to do is throw them out. Get very strong women like Kiran Bedi, or I'm only saying Kiran Bedi. There are a million other strong women who can come, take over, and start, attacking the child traffickers in the same way that Yogi Adityanath or Himanta Sharma is doing in Assam. So it's not a big thing. It can be done within minutes if you make everybody work. But if your agenda is to promote yourself and think that you will become the Prime Minister of India, after Modi ji, that will not work. You have to deliver and deliver to the public. And that is the only way, public will look up to you as a leader, as someone like Lal Bahadur Shastri, So here I would say that I'm always a follower of Modi ji, but if there are things, if there are loopholes, I'll need to talk about it. If you're angry with me, so be it. It is my freedom to talk. Okay, I'm not for any party. Earlier there was a time when I was for a party, but now I don't belong to any party. I'm talking only as an Indian who cares for the public and for what's happening to my neighbors and everywhere around me. That's all I'm bothered about. So please give us justice and a crime-free India. That's all I'm asking.
Very nice. Ma'am, it's time for you now, because we have got notification Candid Meena will be on live.
Thank you, sir.
So only few lines, ma'am, only few lines. It will not take more than a minute. मीना दास नारायण के लिए मीना कुमारी की एक कविता। मीना कुमारी जो बहुत फेमस बॉलीवुड एक्ट्रेस थी, वो बहुत अच्छी पोएट भी थी। यह न सोचो कल क्या हो, कौन कहे इस पल क्या हो, रो मत न रोने दो, ऐसी भी जल थल क्या हो, बहती नदी की बांधे बांध, चुल्लू में हलचल क्या हो, हर क्षण को जब आस बना, फिर क्षण भर में निर्बल क्या हो, रात ही गर चुपचाप मिले, सुबह की फिर चंचलता क्या हो, आज ही आज की सुने कहें, क्यों सोचे कि कल क्या हो. So with a positive note that we
Beautiful.
will gain
Thank you
justice
so much.
for Sushant Singh
Thank you for the
Rajput.
kind words
Meena Das
and
Narayan.
thank
जी
you.
मैम,
Thank you,
एनीथिंग
ma'am.
फॉर जनता की बात जनता के साथ.
Oh, no,
Yes,
very
ma'am.
nice. What you're doing is excellent, and I've been observing, as I said, Rupal, what you're doing through your, protests, and also Richa through her beautiful poetry. I mean, you all are making a big difference, and I'm sure you'll do much more in future. So we are with you.
Thank you, ma'am.
थैंक यू
Thank you so
मैम,
much.
थैंक यू
And good
सो
night.
मच मैम.
Good
नाउ वी
night,
विल
ma'am.
कम टू कैंडिड मीरा. मीना,
Thank you. Good night.
थैंक यू
Good
मैम
night,
फॉर
ma'am.
गिव अस वेरी नाइस टाइम मैम. थैंक यू वेरी मच
Good night.
मैम.
Yeah, good night.
गुड नाइट मैम.
तो ये थी हमारे साथ मीना दास नारायण, एक वर्सेटाइल लेडी जिनकी कितनी भी तारीफ की जाए कम है. मीना मैम के बारे में अगर हम कहें तो अगर हम प्रिसाइज वे में उनके बारे में कहते हैं तो भी बहुत टाइम लग जाता है. लेकिन अपने दर्शकों को, चूंकि वो बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग होंगे जो पहली बार मंच पे आए होंगे और मीना मैम को जाना था, तो हमें उनका परिचय देने का टाइम नहीं मिला. मीना दास नारायण त्रिवेंद्रम केरला से हैं और ये 18 साल तक दुबई में रही थी. ये काफी ज्यादा इनोवेटिव है. इनका फिल्म मेकिंग में भी है. इनका, जैसे इन्होंने टून टेल्स की बात की, इनका खुद का यूट्यूब चैनल है कैंडिड मीना. अभी 8 बजे से उनका शो शुरू होने वाला है, डायरीज पे जो शो है. तो हमारे कमेंट सेक्शन में काफी सारे महिलाएं बात कर रही थी कि 8 बजे मीना जी के यहाँ जाना है, मीना जी के यहाँ जाना है. तो प्लीज आप जाइए क्योंकि वो मैम का एनालिसिस रूपल जी बहुत ही अच्छा है और हम भी देखते हैं. और रूपल जी, आपको तो याद होगा कि हम दोनों ने पार्टिसिपेट किया था वो साइलेंस प्रोटेस्ट में. प्लीज बताइए.
जी जी बिल्कुल. जो साइलेंट प्रोटेस्ट मीना जी ने कहा था कि हम सब, उन्होंने कहा था कि चार्ट पेपर के साथ आएंगे, जो उन्होंने एक बना के दिया था. हम सब, हमने सब ने उसमें पार्टिसिपेट किया था और ये बहुत बड़ा इनिशिएटिव था मैम की तरफ से. ये इनिशिएटिव हुआ आफ्टर 13 मंथ्स. तो इससे पता चलता है कि हम सब कभी भूले नहीं. जैसे मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ, न भूले हैं न भूलेंगे, न रुके हैं न रुकेंगे. अगर जस्टिस नहीं दोगे तो छीन कर तो लेंगे. चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, टस से मस हम नहीं होंगे. चाहे वो मेरे माउंट लेंस जाने की बात हो, चाहे वो मीना जी के प्रोटेस्ट की बात हो, कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ तो हो रहा है. एवरी डे अगर हम सुशांत को एक बार भी याद करते हैं तो वो भी उसके लिए एक बड़ा ट्रिब्यूट होता है. वो भी एक बड़ा ट्रिब्यूट होता है. तो इसी के साथ आप ऋचा जी कुछ कहना चाहती हैं तो फिर हम कंक्लूड करेंगे. आपकी वॉइस
अमित
नहीं है.
शुक्ला जी ने हाँ एक बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट बोला है. सुशांत को बॉलीवुड जिहाद ने खाया है. आज सुशांत और दिशा है, कल घर घर की कहानी होगी. अगर अब भी इसे रोका नहीं गया, क्योंकि सबको अवगत है गजवाए हिंद का रास्ता बॉलीवुड से होकर ही जाता है. बहुत खूबसूरत पॉइंट अमित शुक्ला जी. आप हमेशा हमसे जुड़ते हैं, आपकी बातें हमें बहुत अच्छी लगती हैं. कभी आपको मौका मिले, कभी आप हमसे संपर्क करना चाहें, प्लीज हमारे लाइव शो में आइए. हम बीच बीच में ओपन माइक भी रखते हैं, तो आप आके प्रखर होकर अपनी आवाज यहाँ पे रख सकते हैं. और रूपा जी कह रही हैं, सो नाइस टू सी ऑल एसएसआरियंस स्ट्रॉन्ग यूनाइटेड एज ऑलवेज, वी विल गेट जस्टिस फॉर श्योर. डेफिनेटली डेफिनेटली. तो इसी के साथ रूपल, आज हम अपना कार्यक्रम यहीं समाप्त करते हैं गायत्री मंत्र के साथ. ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. भारत माता की जय. हर हर महादेव.
महादेव.
कोई संदेश है तो आप देना चाहें तो.
जी, देखते रहिए जनता की बात जनता के साथ. आप नहीं जानते कि आगे बहुत सारे लोग हमसे जुड़ने वाले हैं. हम बहुत लोगों को लाने वाले हैं और आप लोगों के लिए बहुत सारे लोग जो नोन पीपल हैं उनके साथ आप बात करेंगे हर एक डिफरेंट डिफरेंट टॉपिक पे, क्योंकि हमें हर चीज के लिए अगर आवाज उठाएं, हर चीज के लिए उठाएं, जस्टिस करें, हर चीज के लिए करें, तो हम इसी को आगे बढ़ाएंगे। और जनता की बात जनता के साथ में आप सभी लोगों का आने का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। हम आगे भी ऐसे अच्छे अच्छे लोगों को ले आएंगे ताकि हमारा समाज, हमारा इंडिया आगे और प्रगति करे। थैंक यू सो मच।